So in this video, I'm just going to go through the homework, the review on box and whisker plots. So once you get that basic idea, it's actually pretty easy. You're just reading numbers effectively off the plot. So the whiskers are these parts that extend out. So this is the bottom whisker, it's called, and that represents the lower extreme. So the way you do that is you just find wherever the lower whisker is, and then you go down to the number line and see that that represents 1. The upper extreme then would be here, and that's at 9. Most of you guys got the lower and upper extreme. There was a little more confusion when it came to the medians and quartiles. So now the next thing that you need to know is that the median is represented by the line that's right in the middle of the box. So 6.5. So you can see that our median, if you draw that down here, it's between 6 and 7. I said about 6.5, but if you said 6.3 or 4, that's acceptable because it's not super precise, at least in the way that I've presented it. So, and then the first part of the box represents your lower quartile, which in this case is 5. So this line is the lower quartile, represents 5. This line is the upper quartile and represents 7. So once you get the hang of it, it's pretty straightforward. This, remember, the box and whisker plot is about showing how your data is spread out. So we can see that even though there's a wide range of data going all the way from the bottom down here to all the way up to 9, between 1 and 9, half of the data, a full half of the data, is actually in between 5 and 7 because there's 2 quartiles there. All right, let's go look at the next one. Okay, so here, once you get the hang of it, like I said, it's pretty quick. 5 is the lower extreme. 10 is the upper extreme. The median is going to be the line right in the middle of the box and whisker, which is 7. The left side of the box, this guy, is the lower quartile, left lower. This is your LQ. And in this case, it's 6. And our upper quartile is between 9 and 10. I called it 9.5. All right, so let's look at the next one. Okay, so this is spread out in an interesting way. So I just want to reflect for a second about what's going on here. Remember, in each of these intervals represent a quarter of your values. So even though this interval, this first interval, is much longer, you still have a quarter of your values here. 25% of the values are between the lower extreme, which is 0, and the lower quartile, which is 7. So if you think about what that means, that we have a lot of distance between 0 and 7, but it's only a quarter of the values. While there's also a quarter of the values that are simply between 7 and 8. Between 7 and 8, we get about a quarter of the values. 7, we said, is our lower quartile. Our median is 8. That's right here. Median of 8. And our upper quartile is between 8 and 9. So again, I called it 8.5. If you called it 8.6 or something like that, that's fine. You know, you can only get so accurate as the graph itself is. And this is a little messy, so there's some leniency is all right. And finally, we can see the upper extreme is at 10. So one more time, just to reflect on what's going on here. A quarter of the data is spread out all the way from 0 up to 7. A quarter of the data is there. And 75% of the data is between 7 and 10. That's what the box and whisker plot is showing you, how your data is spread out. So last one, let's take a look here. So we have the data. The first thing you want to do is you're going to rewrite that in order. The way I like to do that is, start finding the smallest number, which is 7. And then you cross it out here. After 7, I have 2 8s, 8, 8. Then after 8, the next biggest is 9. I have one of those. Then I have 2 10s, 10, 10. Then 11, oops, 14, and 22. 11, 14, 22. All right, now I can go ahead and look at all these. Just like I did before, my smallest number, my lower extreme is 7. My upper extreme is 22. I can figure out the median by going halfway through. I have a total of 9 numbers. The fifth one is going to be the median, which is the 10. Note I have 4 numbers on either side. The median is 10. Then my lower quartile is going to be the halfway point of the first half. So the halfway point of the first half is right between 8 and 8. So it's just going to be 8. Both of those are 8. The upper quartile is going to be halfway between 11 and 14. And that's going to be 12.5. If I wanted to figure that out, I could do 11 plus 14 and divide by 2. It's 25 divided by 2, or 12.5. And then here, lastly, I just put it onto a box and whisker plot. In order to make your box and whisker plot work, you need to have a scale. Note here, I just didn't try to, it's a lot to write every number, so I just went by 5s. And you can see here, this represents 7. This represents 8, the lower quartile. 10 was the median. Then up here is the upper quartile, which is supposed to be 12.5. And finally, there's a big whisker over here to 22. So just wanted to run through this. Hope this helps. And it's exactly the type of thing that you need to do on that quiz. So good luck. Thank you.